Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm, picking up exactly where we left off, just trying to plug forward. I've got a lot of examples, a lot of derivation, a lot of empirical facts, a lot of logical connections, and a lot of linguistics. So let's continue on. We'll be jumping over, again, probably break it up for, again, recording a chunk of things right now. I'll break them up into different episodes, so if the editing's a little off, the point is that I'm not going to focus my time that much on editing. But regardless, we'll do some physics today, more linguistics, the same stuff we've been doing. So let's start with a note on notation. So in the previous episode, this will be again 105 or 106, but the last one was, I think it was just algorithms. But one of the past ones, you'll see I've started to put coloration on the editing. White is a open statement, that is true. A green statement is a proven statement. A blue statement is a open statement that is true, that is going to be proven some way related to the axiom. And a red statement is something that is wrong. With the explicit, there's one episode that I put ing, like the fundamental syllable ing, in red. That was just for me editing like a YouTube video, so don't put too much into the colorations on the titles and stuff. That's just me trying to put some flair to the editing, but I don't want to overdo it with, because I don't even like to do cuts. That's why I try not to even like cut from scene to scene, so you just see me just talk this through without any sort of cutting from one thing and editing pretty much anything out. If I pause for too long, I do cut it, so you can notice some editing within like cutting the actual live stream of me recording. And obviously this is not broadcasted live. You're watching this as a video, but I like to just do in one go everything. But regardless, so we're picking up with our definitions. We have the definition of a syllable, again our quest for sensorality. We broke that down into sorality, so we're going to try to connect sorality, focus on that. We're going to discuss what a base and what a basis is in more detail, elicit some possible contradictions that we needed to resolve. But continuing with our definitions, a syllable as a unit of sound. Again, we went over the characteristics in the last episode. It is unique. It has a unique pronunciation. It preserves meaning. It says, like if you look up on Google, it says it contains a vowel. But vowels vibrate. Again, just holding it to the standard of complete proof. Does a syllable have to have a vowel? I would say so. I would conjecture so. Have I proven that rigorously, or can I say that statement is completely true right now? No, but is it 99.999% true? Yes. Why is it true? Therefore, it's not proven, again, to completeness. But certainly true. But it's structured, right? It contains grammar. They're building blocks. Syllables are the building blocks of words. Words are the building blocks of sentences. And so we have that. A word, we didn't define a word, right, as a string of syllables, right? A word contains syllables. Words emerge from syllables, right? So I'm doing the both, right? There's two, right, with our fundamental stability of two, you have we'll call it a constructive case and a destructive or deconstructing case, right? You have a base, construct, and then you deconstruct. You build forward, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I really like that analogy. Like again, just like you level up in a video game, and then once you get to a certain point, you save all of the data before you don't have to start over there. And so a word is a string of syllables, and ing is the fundamental syllable, the ing sound. And so we've discussed the sound e, its functionality tremendously in a lot of previous episodes. But I just wanted to explicitly state the definition of a word. And so, as you'll notice from the title of the last episode, it's right syllability. We define syllability, but it's once again not defined anywhere on the internet. If you type syllability into any large language model, or try to look it up in the dictionary, there's no entries, there's nothing on the internet. But it's the definition is logically self-contained, right? Syllability is the ability to be a syllable. And so you can't logically say that's wrong because you just added, right, it's contracted, ability, the prefix, so you just have a base and a prefix, so you're just expanding, right, the dichotomistic pair, now you're adding back in the words that word was contracted from. And so Now we have a definition for syllability, a definition for word. Continuing through, but again, the stability of two, expansion combines, but words have one base. This was another idea that I was playing with. Can a word have two bases, or just one base? And so, the word base, B-A-S-E, is base. If I run around the bases at a baseball field, that is, again, baseball. But it's like, and then basis in mathematics, B-A-S-I-S. Right, base is singular, basis is singular. Bases, B-A-S-E-S, is plural. What is plural? What is plural? What is basis in its plural form? Is it again? It would be. Is it bases? But then how would you spell that? And because if you spelled that bases, the only available spelling would be B-A-S-E-S. But then that's no longer unique because that would be the plural form of base, like a baseball field. And so, is it bases? So my guess is we have to say basis to bases. But I've not proven that rigorously. But in trying to just talking about the logic that presented itself recently. But a basis, in both cases, is a foundation, right? If your word's based on this word, it's clear, right? Morality, humorality. Syllable, able. But foundation applies to both forms of the base. Bases. Again, I'm not sure what to make of that, but that was a big thing. But again, just to now the numerics, one base. If we have, again, the word, right, language, gauge, language, right, prefix. There's a clear basis to what the word is, what the base word is, and what the syllable is. But how about the word, again, like solidarity? When you have two complete words and they're just put together, and again, with the consideration that I'm an English speaker left to right, is solidarity. Which one's the base? Is it the one that you say first, just naturally? Is it arity? Right, let's just think about it. Solid, it's complete, it's full, it's dense. Solidarity, numericity, dimensionality, number. Right, so solidarity. And so what does solidarity mean? You're one together. So it's like, is there a base? So again, which one's the base of that, of solidarity when there's two complete words? Is what I'm saying. And then how does that play into the fundamental stability of two? Again, just logically putting it all out there, trying to make sense of all of these different things and combine them into a coherent sentence, reduced form. Are words formed from syllability of more than two words? Again, so now we just thought about the base, but how many, right? How much can you take a prefix, right? Redistribution, right? So you have RE, DI, and like how many times can you have a prefix modified? How many times can you have a suffix modified, whether it's ends in Y, ends in LY, ITY, LITY, ALITY? What exactly can we say about, in terms of numbers, how many words can build together, how many words reduce from each other? There's the fundamental stability of two, so we know, again, that's the logical foundation for where the Riemann hypothesis even emerges from, is when you root something, when you try to get to zero, or to the beginning, or to the origin, or to the center, what you get to a stability of two in all domains. So just trying to think it out loud and work through the logic of all of this and all of the implications. And so I might want to stay there for just the logic position. We can cover the notation, covered the basis, and now we're going to jump on over to physics.